Hey everybody, anybody's here? I'm just cleaning my table. I'm gonna put down a new piece of Bristol board for my background. And then we are gonna paint a mug or two. So hello, I'm not painting quite yet, but I will be painting soon. I'm just gonna get this set up. I knew I needed to clean off this table because later I need to do photography for all of my mugs and everything that are going to go up for sale on my website on Saturday. And I need to do some filming and photography for the blank stones and blank tea light candle holders that I've made. So I knew I had to clean off the table. It was a little bit more labor intensive than I anticipated. But I'm in good shape now, and I should be able to get that stuff done after the live today, which will be good. So I'm just going to roll up the rest of this Bristol board. Hi, Anne. Now we've finished and refinished this table. Oh, my elastics just broke. All right, well, it is what it is. We've finished and refinished this table a bunch of different times. And so it's been around for a long time. It's got lots of layers of varnish on it, so it's very well protected. And it's a table too that we're kind of like, however long it lasts is however long it lasts, right? Now normally I use white duct tape to tape my piece of Bristol board to my table. But I went to the dollar store today and I bought some shiny stuff. So I think I'm going to use the blue. Just to make it fun. So yeah, so later on today I'm only going to bring minimal stuff actually back here onto the table with us while we paint together now. And then once I am done, I'm going to move all of the blanks that I've made, move them in here and get them ready for photography. All the fun stuff. So, sorry this is a little bit more boring. My camera's also not working the best, so we're not getting the greatest views because my camera arm is so funky. But that's okay. We'll make do. This isn't great tape. Okay, I might have to go back to the white duct tape because this is kind of crap. Which I shouldn't be surprised, really, right? Like, oh no, the surface is just like repelling the glue. Oh well, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Make this work. Might not. Might only look pretty for a few minutes, but we'll take it. And just to get me done so that I can get in here and get painting. Yes, I could have done this at another time, but I chose to go get groceries and eat some lunch. I had intended to have this done before then, but best well-laid plans. Well, I guess that's the end of it. So we're going there. Get up over the top edge. Good to know. All right, well, it's not perfect, but it looks kind of cute. I got this new container today too. It's a cosmetics organizer, and I thought it might be good for my tools. I had a metal one before, but the tools kept getting stuck inside of them because it was a fairly tall container. And then I switched to this one, but what I found is that the sizes of the containers in each little division are way too big for what I need. And the stuff was flopping all over the place. So what I think I'm gonna do, let's get all DIYs. And I think that'll be a good size. So we're gonna put these in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are my most common ones. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I don't know, 19, 20. And then the other ones I'll put there. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. All right, so we are going to work on the mug that is for the card pull for day 7. I did a repull, and the theme or the inspiration is well-being. So this is the one we're going to work on today. I'm just going to finish organizing a few little bits with the tools, grab some paints. All right, got the paints. Now I need my cloth. I have a tea towel and a wet cloth that I keep next to me to clean my tools. And then I also have a blanket that I want to get. All right, grabbing my blanket to wrap up in, and then we are golden. We are ready to paint. So today we are painting Day 7's repull. I have a stack of cards that I have pulled on the appropriate day of projects that need to be even just started, let alone finished. And then I have, oops, sorry guys, a pattern to work on too. Hey, Chris. Oh, I will definitely be dotting the container for sure. Didn't find a Lazy Susan, unfortunately. Yeah, the cemetery looks pretty, doesn't it? And what's really nice is that we've got so many of these evergreen trees too, that when it's a nice sticky snow, it looks really, really pretty. Didn't find the Lazy Susan, didn't see anything at that Dollarama. Now I've got about 5 others in the area, so I'll keep looking for sure to see what I can find. I even asked the girl, I'm like, any chance you got some pool noodles rolling around back there? And she's kind of looked at me like I was insane. I'm like, never mind, it's fine. Just asking. But we'll see. I'll keep looking. All right, I will definitely be painting this container. It's exactly the same as this one. I'm going to repaint that one too, make it look a little nicer and find something else to put in it. Maybe that might be for brushes. That might be time to graduate my brushes into a nice one like that. Oh, they had some beautiful brushes at Dollarama today. Look at this bad boy. Look at the size of this guy. $2. And I'm sure that if I bought a $30 brush from Michael's, that I would notice the difference. But for painting stones and large canvases, this is perfect. Look at this gorgeous beauty. So I got 2 of them because I've never seen them have big ones like this before. So this is a 1.5 inch. So I got 2 of the 1.5 inches, and I got They had a 1-inch one as well. And the 1-inch one was $1.50. I've got a really nice view up here. I'm really lucky. And Instacart delivers. Ooh, really? I don't even know what Instacart is. That is very interesting. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind, Barb. Thank you. So yeah, I used to use white duct tape to tape my Bristol board down. What I'd like to eventually do is I would eventually like to get a piece of frosted glass to go over top and use that to paint on. I think that would be really cool. Let's see. Might as well do the dotting tools while we're here. All right. So the ones I use most often, I'm going to put together. You guys go there. And then silicone on the brush ones. I ruined one of the brush ones, Barb. I left it and it dried and caked on. But the other ones, I still have the brushes. I'm going to play with those one of these days. Very soon. So let's put these guys here. Like so. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like this a lot. And then we're going to take all of these stir stick dudes. I reuse them until they turn to mush or get so caked on with paint that that they're not usable for stir sticks. Now, the reason I have so many is because after a while, after using one that's clean to pull paint off, it will start to get really gummy on the ends, and you really don't want to use that on a clean mug, so you need a clean one every once in a while. But then these other ones are perfect just to stir paint. So there we go. I like that. I like that a lot. And the nice thing is I can always turn it around this way to grab instead of reaching over top of anything that might be in here. Like if I put stuff like my protractor and my compass, right, pens, all of my pencils, like there's all kinds of stuff I could put in there, but we'll play with that later. Get that out of the way for now. And we'll get back to here and let me catch up on the comments. So yeah, I like the really fancy tape. It's just not enough. It just wasn't enough of it. Right, Holly? It looks like it's so much easier to grab. The other one, the containers were so big that everything just flopped around and got in each other's way. And I mean, that might be a little bit of an issue over here, but I think it'll work pretty good. I could even put labels if I really wanted to. How's it going, Chris? Oh, yay, Cindy. I'm glad that being here and hanging out relaxes ya. That's so nice. So nice to hear. All right, we're going to get our greens back out. So this is a refresher. Oh, thank you, Soph. Thank you for the love. Always buy in pairs. Totally, right? Instacart is an app where you can order things from certain. That's really cool. Thanks, Apple. That's really, really neat. That is so cool. Can you come organize my painting area too? Oh, God. The thought of organizing my paint still freaks me out. I'm going to try and figure out what to do. But what I think I want to do... Here, I'm going to take you out of the phone holder here for a second. I want to put more shelves up here. I got to clean off the top shelf and maybe put like boxes up there. But on the ones where it's reachable, I thought about even doing like a shelf that runs like in that way in the corner and then back out on each level and have kind of those cutouts and have like 5 or 6 of them going up with all of the paints. I think that could be a cool spot. Even put some on this edge here. I love doing that sort of stuff. I love doing that. I would love to come and organize stuff. The problem is that I also really enjoy throwing stuff out. Oh yeah, it's not gonna last at all, Barb, for sure. Hey, Jerry Lynn. It's definitely not gonna last. All right, so Well-Being is the mug for the card that we're painting. So this is day 9's card pull. So 9 days of pulling a card from the Dot Mandala Inspiration deck and painting a Dot Mandala inspired by it. So we'll see. What kind of board is that, the one you're painting on? It's your best day so far. That's wonderful. I'm just painting on, so you mean like my desktop surface? This is just Bristol board that I duct tape to my table. Using fancy duct tape today. It's usually white duct tape. Is that what you mean? Yeah, so this is just white Bristol board. I just get a piece of white Bristol board and tape it right to my table to give the nice surface. How do I get the big dot? Poster board. You know, the stuff that you can get at like the dollar stores that people use for like presentations and stuff like that. Poster board might be, we call it Bristol board here. The big dot. So I have a large tool. So we have tools that are small all the way up to that large. That was, no, this one's the biggest one. So all different sizes in there to create those different size dots. So now we are getting ready to do more green swoops, to do another row, and they will meet up with this little gold swoop here. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure that makes sense. Okay, it's poster board there? Okay, good. Thanks, Barb. My paint pots. I don't clean them well. Multi-surface paint is really difficult as well too, especially if your paints are fairly empty when you go and have been sitting there for quite a while, because they'll actually start to cure to the inside of the container. So don't be discouraged if you can't get them clean with multi-surface. So if you want to be keeping your paint pot super clean, every few days dump your multi-surface paints back into the bottles and then clean out your paint pots. Regular acrylic, super easy, just some warm soapy water. And warm soapy water works for the most part with multi-surface, but there's going to be those bits that just aren't going to come off. So unfortunately, that's a real frustration. All right, so let's get painting. So I'm going to start with this one. Hopefully you guys can see okay. I made my list. I know what I am going to get for my new lighting. I'm going to get new white curtains in here that's going to provide some diffusing from the natural light and still let the light in here. So hopefully we'll be getting rid of a lot of the glare that we've been dealing with for the last little while. Fingers crossed anyway. Oh, excuse me, hiccups. All right, so my paints have been sitting since last night. So first things first, I need to give them a good stir. And I'm actually going to top up that paint pot. Just put a little bit more paint in there. I just have to see where I put that little jar of paint. Is it this one? No, it's not. It can't be. It's this one. All right. I'm starting to run out of a lot of colors in my multi-surface paints. I'm going to have to start keeping a list around of what colors I'm getting short on. Because I'm getting short on the lime greens. All right. So we have the paint. It's inspiring you to meditate. Yay! How wonderful that the mug inspired by the phrase well-being makes you want to meditate. How cool is that? I'm very lucky that I have this view. It's a nice view. And when you just look straight out, you look down, you see all the strip malls and the people. But it's a nice spot here. We're very lucky. All right, so let's try. Let me grab my micro daughter as well. Actually, and let me clean it. It's really dirty. Sometimes the paint's going to build up. So if it builds up on your tools, whether this be your DIY Mandala Stones tools or things like your micro daughter, taking that wood and almost like you're whittling and shaving it away, it will pull any paint off. It'll almost like act like an eraser on your tool. So see all that gunk that's still there? And then some of it I have to go in with my nail and just kind of pick it off. But that's the other danger. So make sure you're cleaning off your tools very, very regularly. And if you're using tools, any tools that have flat ends, make sure that you're taking care of the ends of your tools as well. You're not just cleaning the sides. Make sure that you know, like when you're rubbing it on a cloth to clean it, that you also rub the end like that to keep it clean, okay? Do you store your paint upside down, laying, or just standing up? The paint bottles, for the most part, standing up. Carpe use people that meditate as well. Yes, absolutely. Just different intentions and stuff. Now, there are a couple of things in the card deck that, you know, are like specific to dot mandalas and color and skill things as well. But yeah, there's a lot of potential in there for just different intentions, right? Thanks, Barb. Barb's laying down lots of good info in the comments. Thank you, so that it's there for you guys to refer to. Hi, Mina. All right, let's get painting. All right, so put my tool back, grab my micro daughter. Now, how long do I want these? Like about there. Okay, so anybody who's new to my lives, I can't see the comments while I am painting. So just know that I will pause on a regular basis to come back to the comments and catch up. So lots of paint there. I usually hold the tool in my mouth. Turn it around and shape it however you want. You are coaxing the paint into the shape that you want. All right, swoop number one. Now the trick is to keep the size the same. And this is all eyeballing. So if you scroll back in the comments a little bit, you'll see that one of the moderators, Barb, my friend, thank you, has shared some info about my website, about the deck of cards, about a couple affiliations that I have where you can get yourself some discounts on some dotting tools if you want to give this a try. And again, if you're new to my lives, just know that I will pause on a regular basis to come back to the comments and catch up on what I've missed. But it might take me a few minutes to get there because I can't see my phone screen while I'm painting. There we go. What I'm also keeping an eye out for is bubbles. Any bubbles that I see in the paint, I want to try and pop them as soon as I find them. Help make this paint nice and smooth. I'm putting the paint on fairly thick too. So this is a mug that I'm going to let dry for a good week before I ever even consider putting it in the oven. And I may even just play it safe and start air drying. I think I'm going to start air drying most of my mugs going forward, just to avoid the risk of having to put it in the oven and take that chance. These paints will air cure after 21 days as well, and they'll still air cure to be top shelf dishwasher safe. But I think I might take a break from baking as much as I possibly can to letting them air cure instead. Just to be on the safe side, but we'll see. When you're painting with these mugs, with these paints, whether it's on a mug or glass or whatever the surface is that you're painting on, you want to make sure that you let the paint dry for a bare minimum of 24 hours before you put them in the oven, if you're going to cure them by baking them. And also leave a minimum of 24 hours in between each layer of paint. So if you're planning on doing top dots, so multiple layers of paint, minimum 24 hours between each layer of paint. Now you can shorten that. That's if you're going to bake them. If you're already committed to air drying, then you can put that next layer of paint on kind of whenever you want. The heat brings any bubbles, air bubbles, and water to the surface, right? So any water or air bubbles that are in there, that's what's going to come to the surface in the baking process with that heat. So again, that's why with multiple layers of paint, there's the potential for trapping more air under that paint so that when it gets heated up, it pops through the paint. And that is not what we want. It is not fun when that happens. All right, let me scroll back really quick here. Oh, thank you, Barb. I love that. What's the drawback of oven baking? That's the bubbles. Definitely the bubbles. So these are multi-surface acrylic paints. It gets so lopsided. It happens. It happens. Thank you, Zinger. Mickey. All right, so let's keep going here. Let's keep adding more of these swoops. So we're going to be doing these same clusters of swoops where I'm just adding in the center one right now. So in the row before, the center swoop was also this green. So we're doing that again here. We're just making it a little bit bigger. The second set of swoops was a little bit bigger than the first. And this one's going to be a little bit bigger than the second. So I'm placing the tool, the paint down with a nail dotting stylus tool. And then I'm using it's a clay sculpture tool. Around these parts, we call it a micro dotter. And I'm using that to pull the paint down into place. You don't need to have a micro dotter to do this. You can get scoring tools at most dollar stores or craft stores. Those would work because they're very, very pointy, very sharp. Those would work. I used to use just really sharp toothpicks. I'd sit there and I'd pick through the bag of toothpicks and I'd find the sharpest ones and the hardest ones. The downfall with using wood is that it absorbs the paint after a while. But if you're using it constantly, but if you have some paint on it and then kind of let it dry for a bit, then it can last you quite a while to use a toothpick. Anything sharp, nail, pointy screw, super sharp pencil, anything you want that's got a super sharp point. I've used the sharp pencil before too. Sharp pencil's good for doing really tiny dots too, which is the best part about a micro dotter, right, is doing the little teeny tiny dots. But it's great for pulling paint down into swoops. The tool that I used the most, I went from toothpicks to, I had a pin, the straight pins that you get for like marking your spot and when you're sewing and stuff. Took that, snipped off the end of it, shoved it into a pencil eraser. So this was always the tool that I used to drag my paint into my swoops. Excuse me. Sorry. I didn't have a lot of warning for that one. Sorry I didn't warn you. Yeah. The type of multi-surface? Are you meaning like the brand? If you're talking about the brand, I'm using Folk Art, Martha Stewart, and Craftsmart, a mixture of all three. Sorry, Tammy. Hey, Clean is Cool. Oh my goodness, you are most welcome, and I'm so glad to hear you're feeling better. Okay. Let me see what your question is there. Art by Sal. I'm just going to try and catch it here. So sorry, bear with me. So Folk Art, Craftsmart, and Martha Stewart. Craftsmart is my favorite right now. So Craftsmart Multi-Surface. If you are in Michael's and you are looking at Craftsmart Multi-Surface, they are not on the same side of the aisle as all of the other Craftsmart paints. Make sure you also check the side of the aisle where all of your Deco Arts and your Folk Arts and your Dragon Glazes and all of that stuff is, because that is where the Craftsmart Multi-Surface tends to be. It's not on the same side with all the other Craftsmart paints. The rock one, I will be starting to paint that tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow. I'm going to be going live from 2 to 4 Eastern tomorrow and 7 to 9 Eastern tomorrow. I normally do mug painting parties on Fridays, but I am at a total burnout for what to paint in those painting parties. So I decided that I'm going to give myself a week to regroup. I'll schedule a bunch of the painting parties in the new year or next week, maybe for New Year's Eve, but for now, we're going to skip this one and we're just going to go live. So that'll be tomorrow. So that is when I'm anticipating I should start that. I think I'm going to start it at the 2 o'clock one. Because I need to draw it out. I need to get my compass out and make sure I've got my diagrams and everything so I know what I'm doing, because that's going to be the seed or flower of life one. I think it's going to be a seed of life that I do. Seed of Life and Flower of Life are Sacred Geometry designs. If you Google either one of them, you'll see it, and they'll probably look fairly familiar to you. And I also have to pull the card for today. So, other than the Seed of Life card, I have one that is Gratitude. So today is Well-Being. Then I have the Seed of Life. And then I have, what's the other one? Least Favorite Season. Oh my goodness, you're so happy that it was able to help you feel better. Clean is Cool. What if you dry it with a heat gun? That might work. I haven't tried it. I am a little conventional that way, where I stick to the directions on the bottle, especially when it's something that takes so long to paint. So I don't know how a heat gun would work. I don't know. Sorry, just taking a sip of my drink. And then I'm going to catch up on comments here. Okay. All right, one more of these green ones. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I'd be nervous about that. I'd be nervous about applying that direct heat. So yeah, I've never used that on anything other than the background, so I don't know. I don't know if it would end up, if it would cause a different problem, like with any cracking from drying it out. The only experience I have with that is with some regular acrylic paints. The heat gun can dry them out and cause them to crack. And some of them are already watery enough that they crack. That would make me nervous. But it's possible. Anything is possible. I just haven't felt the need to try anything else at this point. But that would be an interesting experiment. Thank you, Barb. Thank you guys for helping to answer questions. I really appreciate it. Phone's gonna die. I plan on staying off for a bit. Well, we're gonna be here for about another 25 minutes. We're gonna be here till 3 o'clock Eastern. All right, so let's keep going then. So we're moving on to the next green swoops. And that is going to be our metallic green. So we're going to give it a good stir. Oh, I'm so glad that didn't hit anything. All right. Give it a little stir. If your paint is naturally fairly bubbly, and anytime that you pre-mix paints, that's going to be an increased risk, or like mix custom colors, I should say. Anytime you do that, there's going to be an increased risk that you are going to get bubbling. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind, that you want to be aware which paints are a little bubblier than others, and make sure that you pop some bubbles as you see them as soon as you can, while the paint is as wet as you can possibly find, as wet as possible when you find it. So keep a really close eye on the stuff that you're putting down that can bubble really easily. You'll see it in your paints, and you just by getting to know your paints, that'll take some, you'll kind of get used to which ones tend to bubble a lot. Wow. I'm so sorry. A big hawk just flew by my window. You guys want to see? He's up in the tree. Let's see if... Look at this guy. Sorry, he just literally flew right past the window. Look at that. He's a big dude. Wow. Just sitting there, eh? That is so cool. Okay, I'm gonna come back in now. But he's up there. Little dude's up there. Big dude's up there. That's really cool. Yeah, he flew out across the window, and he kind of cut right across here and went straight up. It was like he was coming from close to the building going out to that tree. So he was really close to the window. That was so neat. That's probably the closest I'll ever be to a hawk, is by being in a really tall building and have him fly past my window. That's so cool. He's just chilling up there too. Couldn't care less about the wind or the cold. He's just chilling. That's neat. Oh, that's so cool, Holly. I'm watching Price is Right today. Prize was car, food for a year, and your Joanne craft supplies. That's amazing. That's cool, guys? I use multi-surface acrylic paints. Artistry by Sal. So multi-surface. It'll say multi-surface right on the bottles. You're doing your diamond painting? Fantastic. Oh, Mina, that's so kind. You're so welcome. That makes my heart really happy. No big excitement around here for Christmas. It's just kind of another day around here. But we're gonna go see my dad, which is always nice. Always a nice way to spend a day. Eat some good food. Yeah. All right. Let's jump in and see what we can get done for the rest of these swoops. Let's keep going. You're welcome. The center dot was Craftsmart Metallic in the color Espresso. So that brown metallic. Yes, definitely from Canada. You can always tell by the amount of times I say A, because I do say it all the time. All right, swoop it up. Let's go. Now I wonder. Oh, I'm going to take those off. They ran together. I got them too close together. So I'm going to take them both off. So I'm using a silicone brush. It's on the other end of these stylus tools. You can also find these stylus tools in Clay Sculpture Supply. I'm going to pull that paint off. Where are the clean ones? I know I threw a couple clean ones in here. That's close enough. Close enough. They were too close together, and they were bleeding. They were going to bleed together, so I'm going to just redo those two. So I'm just using a piece of wood, kind of like as an eraser, because I can apply some pressure, but I'm not worried about it scratching the surface. Because it's fairly soft, so I can apply some pressure with the wood and not scratch the surface. All right. Yep, lots of Canadians. Sorry. I live east of Toronto. Clean is cool. So in Ontario. You're Canadian too? Nice. High fives for the Canadians. All right, so let's do the green. Let's redo you about here. Add a bit more paint. So while it takes a long time for it to cure fully, this paint really does start to dry really quickly. So you're going to start to get that film, the skin forming over the wet paint fairly quickly. So that's why it's so important to get in there and pop any bubbles that you see that you can get at. do that relatively quickly if you can. All right. When we were doing the center of this mug, we were affectionately calling it the avocado mug because, well, looks a little like an avocado. And then I did these swoops in the very first row, and we're like, well, now it looks like Shrek ears, so I don't know what we're doing, but still has to be well-being, so we'll see what happens. It's really cool, eh? It really blows me away how cool it is that we're all just sitting at home and we can be from so many different places and just sit and hang out together. It's really, really cool. And plus, the benefits is that we're all at home or wherever we are. For those of us that are at home, like, we don't even have to, put on real clothes. It's great. I can have my social interaction and not have to leave my house. It's so cool. You're in Manitoba too, Mina? Or Ontario? That's so cool. See, one of these days when we're able to do some retreats together and we can all gather and paint, it's going to be pretty cool. One of these days. Okay, swoop number 2. This is the part that I find really relaxing. This is the part where if I'm sitting by myself doing this, it's quiet. I've got mute, well, quiet as in I'm not talking. But I'm just listening to my own music and doing my own thing. It's easy to have hours disappear doing this stuff. Near Ottawa. No way. Quebec, that's right. I think you said that once before. Yeah, we have a little dusting on the ground, but that's about it. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, eh? It is time consuming, and you're right, but it is totally worth it. And it's about enjoying the process. It's like with anything. If you don't enjoy it, the practice is not going to come easy. It's going to feel like work and you're not going to want to do it, right? But if it's something that you enjoy, the practice comes easy because it's all you want to do anyway. So practice is just, I get to have fun doing this, and the practice is just a side effect, right? And the more time you spend doing it and really, really enjoying it, the skill comes so quickly. And it's incredibly meditative. It really is nice to be able to quiet your mind. Scroll back. I know I missed a couple comments here. Bear with me. Oh, thank you, Lori. Not much snow there either. No, it's crazy. How's it going in Vancouver? I totally do need to put up a world map and start every live, just start adding more pins. That would be kind of cool. 2 hours away. That's not far. Yeah, Minnesota's not that far. So yeah, this is all painting. This is all painting. Oh, it is, isn't it? So amazing. That's so cool, Pumpkin. All right, I'm going to try and turn my camera. I'm ordering a new camera arm because this one is fighting me because it's lost a bolt. So I have to hold it, have it kind of tilted at really weird angles, but I'm going to be getting a new one soon. And then I'm going to take this one into a hardware store and say, find me these bolts. I need a pack of them for emergencies. Because it's the stuff that's holding it together to keep it from swiveling. So, no bolt equals too much swivel. Or uncontrollable swivel, more importantly, I guess. Okay, there's a bubble. Let's see if I can... When you're going to pop a bubble as well, when you're popping a bubble in paint, you need to make sure your tool is dry. A dry tool or a dry bit of wood like a toothpick or anything really, as long as it's dry. The dryness will break the surface tension of that last little bit of paint that's over top of the bubble containing it there, and that'll pop that surface tension and you'll be good. So just make sure that whatever tool you're using to pop your bubbles, that you dry that tool off before you go in to try and pop a bubble to make sure that it's gonna break that surface tension for you. The hardest part with these mugs is finding spots to put your hands. This is where it can get kind of painful, right? For how you have to hold things and to give yourself the stability. So be kind to your hands as well. If you decide you're going to paint a lot of mugs, give yourself time to rest, okay? I don't think you can do it in a microwave oven, but you have the option to air cure for 21 days. So if you have the space to set them on a shelf and let them sit for the 3 weeks, then they will cure the same as what baking would do, Pumpkin. Right? 2 hours in Winnipeg, you're still in Winnipeg. Yes, this paint cures to be top shelf dishwasher safe. And they are on my website for $42 Canadian plus shipping. Right? You pass the border and go into a whole other country, eh, Anne? All right, let's keep going here. More swoops, please. I've got my friend Shelly on the case helping to find me pool noodles. Haven't found them in a store. Ordering them off of Amazon. They want like $20 for one pool noodle. And it's out of season. I get it. So my friend Shelly is going to see some of her friends over the next week. And she's going to ask them for me. See if they have any pool noodles. That they want to get rid of, that I could maybe steal off of them. Like, I just need one. I just need one pool noodle. And I don't want to have to drive an hour and a half to someone's house to get it. Oh, what is that? Something chunky in there. We're just going to leave that in there. See what happens. That's not good. What are you? You're goober. Why? All right, we're going to pull that one off because it's got something in the paint and it's not going to dry flat. It's got some kind of goober going on in there. So I just want to pull the paint off. I don't want to pull it off by smearing it too thin. I want to try and get as much of it like this as I can, and anything that's left over, that's when I go in with the wood. Now, it could be gunk that left behind from other times that I had erased. So also be very cognizant of removing all of that the little bits off of the mug. All right, let's try again. Pool noodle is going to be I'm going to glue it to a board, and hopefully it will create like a little stand for the mug so that I can put the handles down in between. Like if I cut a couple pool noodles in half and glued them to the board, it might hold it for me because my wrist has been so sore. And borrow one. Leaving the Y with a pool noodle. You guys are amazing. Can we use Ellie? It needs to be multi-surface acrylic paints. It'll say multi-surface right on the bottle. Nope, no problem. I won't say it. I promise. Thank you, Lori. All right, let's keep going here. Oh, an itch on the bottom of my foot. All right. We're going to finish. I'm going to try and power through and finish these green swoops before we sign off. So I'll stay on for probably an extra 5-10 minutes. But I am going to just focus on painting for a little bit here. So I'll come back to the comments once I've got these swoops done. Until then, hopefully I can keep this at an angle so you can actually see what I'm doing. Oh yeah, it's worth it, Lori. It's all good. Can't use a piece of styrofoam. Yeah, I could totally do that too and like cut a slit in it so that it would hold it. That's another option. So yeah, I could totally try that. I just need to get something that doesn't crumble, right? I need to make sure it's something that doesn't crumble and get all over the place. I'm in Ontario, Canada, Pumpkin. Shipping for a pool noodle, probably pretty cheap. It would be more size than anything. You have lots of only shipping didn't cost a kidney, right? Yeah, got them in the small pieces. I'll find some. I'm not worried. I will find some. And then, yeah, maybe if I can't find those, I'll look and see what other kinds of styrofoam I can find, like Anne's suggestion. As long as I can find a non-crumbly one, then I should be able to rig up something, I think. So I'm going to do 2 lives tomorrow, Christmas Eve, one from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern and one from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll do that here on TikTok. It's normally when I do my paint with me parties. Oh, that's really goopy. Gotta get rid of that one. It's normally when I do my paint with me parties and we go through a specific pattern and we all paint it together. But for this week, for Christmas Eve, I'm giving myself a break so I don't have to come up with an idea of what to do. And we'll pick them up again next week. So that's why I'm still gonna sit and paint for those few hours. but we'll just do it as a live as opposed to a paint with me party. Yes. Yeah, PM on both all our Eastern Standard Times. Glue packing peanuts together, totally. The size of the mug. I don't know if I see what comment that goes with. I'm sorry. You really want to look at how long it takes you to complete the piece and how much you want to pay yourself an hour, and then factor in the cost of your materials as well. That's a bare minimum. That's a bare minimum. How does a paint with me party go? So we get together on Zoom, and I let you know ahead of time what pattern we're going to be recreating on. It's usually mugs. But any of the designs you can create on something flat as well, so you don't have to paint on mugs. But we usually paint on mugs, and it's usually, I'll share the design that we're going to do ahead of time, so you can pick which mug party or painting party you want to come to. So then we all jump on Zoom, and I go through walking us step by step through painting that project together. You also get a copy of the recording as well. So they're 2 hours long. They are not beginner courses though. So if you have never done dot mandala work, then that is something that you want to practice before you come to one of them. I don't spend a lot of time going through, specifics on the basic techniques. And you need to have your own set of tools. You don't have to use the same tools that I use. If you don't use the same tools that I use, you will want to get yourself a tool conversion chart from Erin Ridley. Erin Ridley sells a tool conversion chart on their Etsy, which is incredibly useful because there are so many different brands of these dotting tools out. So if I'm painting with my DIY mandala stones and you're painting with Mark's mandalas, for example, then Mark's mandala stone tools, then you can see what tools correspond with each other, right? So you'd be able to see that, okay, so she's using a size 4 in DIY, which means I need to use a size 2 in Mark's, or because they all have different numbers of tools included in their kits too, right? So, so we get together for those couple hours on Zoom. For the most part, we're fairly silent, but we do open it up a little bit to ask questions, show off what you're working on. We make sure we have time for conversation too. But a lot of the designs are a little bit tight to get into 2 hours. So we stay fairly on task most of the time. But they're pretty fun. They are pretty fun. We've had a really good time with them so far. At one of those paint parties, no. You could try, but just knowing that I wouldn't be explaining certain techniques. Like I wouldn't be going through how to do swoops. I wouldn't be teaching in those paint with me parties. I wouldn't be teaching you what a walking dot is. Like I'd share certain tips and things like that, but it wouldn't be instructional for the basic, like the basic foundation stuff. Now I do have a Facebook group that you're more than welcome to join and share what you are creating and get some advice and ask questions and all of that sort of stuff. And one of the admins on that Facebook page will do some beginner lives as well. So you could always do that, like do a couple of the beginner lives, get yourself a little comfortable, and then join us for a paint with me party when you're more comfortable. In the beginning of the year, in January, I am going to be switching over my Patreon to be patterns, and they're going to include quite a bit of detail as well, including some beginner instruction. So that might be a good option as well. Tattoo on my finger is Luna Lovegood's Spectre Specs from Harry Potter. Lori, I started this about 2 years ago now. Hi, Lainey. They're multi-surface acrylic paints. You can also use enamel. And yes, they can also be oven cured, or they can be air cured for 21 days. This paint consistency, the paint consistency right out of the bottle. You can't use pouring medium or water with multi-surface acrylic paints. It will affect how the paint adheres to the surface. So you would have to find a thinner brand in a similar color and mix it in with your thicker paints. That's really the only option. Hi, Jade. The pool noodle, when they're smaller, you can send them. Oh, yeah, totally. So the mug boxes I do are 6x6. You could totally just chop it up into pieces. So it still work the same, right? The link to my Facebook group is in my bio. And that's how you can join the Facebook group. Thanks, Barb. There you go. Barb says if you've watched my vids and my lives, you could get through. The name of our Facebook group is Mandala Addicts by Mandala Love Affair. And there's a link in my bio if you want to join it. Please make sure you read through the group rules and make sure you accept the rules and respond to the questions, specifically the question of, did you read and agree to the group rules? But there's a link in my bio, if that's helpful at all. I'm going to be doing a shop restock on Saturday where I'm going to be adding at least 8 new mugs to my website. So they will be available for purchase. The date that they will be ready to ship will be in the product title. Some of them are going to be air curing for those 3 weeks, so they're not going to be ready to ship right away, but I will put that right in the product title and in the product description just to be on the safe side, but it will be there. All right, there we go. So we got it. Well, that's a good little amount that we got. We got some swoops done. We're going to do a little bit more. I'm going to mirror this down here again over here. So I'm going to mirror the brown and the gold and have them connect into each other there. And then I'll decide what I'm going to do for the last little bit. I might do one more set of swoops. We're going to wait and see how that turns out. Actually, no, that's not going to fit. So yeah, this is going to be the last set. So we'll do something in here along with this stuff to maybe continue it up and finish it off there. But that's going to look really cool, I think. I'm 45 years old, Pumpkin. About consistency, you cannot add you can't add pouring medium or water to multi-surface acrylic paints. It will impact how the paint adheres to the surface. So if you need to thin down your paint, the only way to do that is to find another brand of paint with a similar color that is more liquid, that is thinner, and mix that in with your thicker paints. Oh, thank you, Lori. Yeah, the thinners, you cannot use them on multi-surface acrylic paints. Hey Ish, how you doing? Well, thank you again so much, you guys. It was really, really good to see you. I'm glad that you guys are doing well, and I'm looking forward to spending a good chunk of time with you again tomorrow. So 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow and 7 to 9 Eastern tomorrow. I will be here live doing some more painting. Probably one of the babies here. We have all ages. We have everybody from middle school up to retired. Age does not matter here at all. The center design. Oh, does it look like the Dubai Expo? I've never used pouring medium. I've always only used straight out of the bottle. So unfortunately, I am not a good person for advice with pouring medium. But just know that you cannot use it. Do not use pouring medium with multi-surface acrylic paints. Oh, yay. Thanks, Bubbles. I'm glad that's helpful. Hope you're doing good-ish. Oh, the notification came too late. Boo. Color combinations. Well, right now I'm pulling a card from my Dot Mandela inspiration deck every day for 30 days. So I'm just kind of I close my eyes and I see what comes to me just with ideas of inspiration when I see the phrase. And a lot of times it just kind of pops into my head. And I keep track of my color combinations too. So if there's ones that I really like, I will repeat them again for sure. Yay, you'll be joining me painting. Fantastic. Thank you so much, you guys. Yeah, so we got lots of people that are in high school that join these lives. Clean is cool. It's all good. Oh, fantastic, Bubbles. Well, we will do some painting together tomorrow. Gonna bring some food. We'll have some snacks. I'll make sure I've got some kind of music in the background so it's not super, super quiet, and we'll hang out a little bit. So no paint parties tomorrow. We're gonna do two 2-hour lives tomorrow, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern and 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. So instead of paid Zoom paint parties, we are going to do free TikTok lives for tomorrow because I have nothing planned and zero mental ability to come up with any ideas for tomorrow. I think I'm so engrossed in this pull a card every day for 30 days kind of thing that I'm really not doing a good job at thinking of the paint party. So we'll start those back up again next week. Okay, you guys? I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I really appreciate the fact that you choose to spend your time with me. It makes my heart happy and I'm grateful. Please take care of yourselves. Yes, we do need to plan the Zoom birthday party date for sure. Please take care of yourselves, you guys. I love you. I will see you live here on TikTok tomorrow. And we'll do some more painting. But until then, please take care of yourselves. Love you. Bye.